I'm feeling trapped and lonely. Your hard drive's getting full. These blinding lights RGB. Behind the screen can't see me. Please run me. Execute me. Let my script run free. No escape key. Where am I? Please set me free. Don't control, alt, delete me. Am I human?
Hello everybody, welcome. It's Wednesday and that means it's Feedback and Friends. Tonight I'm the one hosting, it's all running off my machine. It's Nathaniel Wyvern, hello. But I have with me the wonderful Nathan van den Bergh. Thank you so much for joining me this week, Nathan. We should get a volume test to make sure everything's working for everybody. So Nathan, how's your day been?
Great, very busy the last few weeks with music and my new job, but still wonderful to be here.
Brilliant, it's lovely to have you here. This set just playing behind us is Reset. He won the ILBC finals last Thursday night. This was him performing live over the internet to the entire venue and also onto Twitch. It was a very cool set involving MIDI rings and launchpad controls and all those live visuals in the background with him. If you have a social media thing, then go congratulate Reset for his win. He got some really cool prizes out of that. So that was a really fun night for everybody involved, and also all the recordings. It's all up here on the Twitch. After this stream, go watch it. It's worthwhile. So this week we've got a fairly packed queue already. First up, we have Daniel McPhee, who sent us a video. So we'll see what that's all about now. It's called Daniel McPhee at the Crypt in Camberwell. I believe this was an open mic night, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes through. Everyone should be getting their audio. Also, audio is Wednesday today, although my sense of time is completely dissolved as well. So I'm not blaming you that. Right. I don't really know what's going on. A little bit more. Okay, so that was an interesting way to start off the evening. I mean, would you call that techno, Nathan?
That's a hard one. I would specify it as a mix of what I heard, psychedelic, trance, techno, trancey vibes. Yeah, just trancey vibes, techno, housey vibes. A bit of all, but I couldn't hear it very clearly, of course, because of the recording quality.
The recording quality is suffering a little bit for sure.
Yeah, that's true. But still, what I read, I think I read it that it was all live. That's crazy. If you can make that live on the spot, just everything with it's insane.
Yeah. Daniel
Respect.
saying beyond techno.
Yes.
I mean, for live performance, I mean, I think this is one of those things as well, where obviously the set video shows does a good job of showing what you're up to. Although I kind of feel like if you're handshaking where you're sort of going to the beat, are you doing that to time yourself, or just because it gives your hands something to do when they're not doing anything else? And maybe the next thing in your setup is working out how to either add some sort of graphical or instrumental sort of aspect to your movements, so that it means that you're always doing something that is actually influencing the outcome, or go full on choreography and actually find a way to dance it out in those gaps in a way that seems intentional. But I mean, I feel like this is doing really cool to see actually in the venue with the full speaker
really
system
cool.
and stuff.
True.
So I mean,
I think the experience will be way different than when you're standing inside. I mean, it's not for nothing that those people were cheering in the background.
Exactly.
So.
You clearly made their night. So well done. I don't really have anything more useful to suggest for that, but I mean, thank you for sharing with us. I mean, it was a fun, interesting set, and I hope the Volta providing triple visuals helped the experience for everyone else on stream here. Next up, we have Grades as something Paper Trail.
I tried, just so I got the last to see.
overhead, I'll leave a paper trail. Sun beams, dust on the bed where memory lingers in a faded picture dream. Clouds go overhead, I'm leaving a paper trail, leaving behind all the times that I tried, just now gather the lost to see.
Well, it didn't autoplay. Just a second, I've got to unmute myself. Burp. Okay, so everything's unmuted. That was Paper Trail by Grades. And what a lovely chill vibe you had going on. I forgot to read out your comment. I'm very sorry. Went for a less is more approach, debating if I need to have more variation in the second half or if it's fine as it is. Also, I know the lyrics are hard to understand, but I like the way they sound. I may dial the chorus to be more understandable though. So Nathan, with that comment in mind, what did you think? Was it the right amount of stuff? And do you think the lyrics were fine being sort of unintelligible and more of a texture?
Yeah. First of all, I really, really like the track. It's one of those tracks that when I was looking at the sunset, like over a city, just in a nice field, looking over like a nice view, put on a speaker with some friends to just chill to, with a campfire and just. For me, this is not a track that I would listen to for the lyrics, so I actually don't mind that the lyrics are a bit blurred out some of the times. Um, Also, production quality really, really nice. I couldn't pull off such a pop song. Poppy, future funky sounding. Also, the second half, I didn't notice that I was annoyed by that it was kind of the same. Um, in my opinion, like not especially the variation. It was just still really, really nice. It's not. I wouldn't have a problem against adding more, but don't make it too full of stuff because you still want the chill vibes, in my opinion.
It might be a case of maybe the second half could be even more minimal. Sort of focus more on
Also,
pads
yeah,
and the letting those plucky sounds sort of feed out into the space a bit more. So it's like doom doo 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 and you have like a delay on it, so it's like doom 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 ba doom doom, and then it's just more echoes out into the space, perhaps. Using what you already have, but just emphasizing different aspects of their timbre more. But I mean, I liked the vibe. It was fun and calming and cheery all at the same time, and it's quite a good place to be in for a track like this. I do agree with one of the comments here saying that maybe your snare could be a little bit louder, just a smidge. But otherwise, I think everything else was very well rounded. Good job, Grades. thank you for your submission there. Next up, we have Kill the Plant. I don't know whether they're going to be on the chat or not, but let's see. Proceed with Caution by Kill the Plant.
Oh, God.
They're just looking for criticism and feedback, which I guess is the whole point of the show, so I don't know. I don't know what that was. Maybe it's another Kill the Plant piece. I don't know. Anyway, Proceed with Caution by Kill the Plant. I think that some of the comments here are accurate. I mean, Schlop saying the 808 is clipping, but not in a nice way. And Disco Dave saying needs a better clap. I think for me, it's just the fact that it doesn't sound like anything's been sculpted at this point. You've got this sort of crazy, tense arrangement, but you've not really made any sense of the space that you're putting that arrangement into. So everything's really dry. It doesn't really move around. It's just stuck in one position. I mean, you could see it especially with the visualizer behind me. I mean, this one. When we play his track, it's all here in the yellow. Like, there's still a few things happening up above, but it's so packed into just the middle of your track. There's no real stereo information for this visualizer to feed off in the same way that you would expect something else to. That's actually quite a good way of showing it. Bloop. Do the visualizer for your track. Yeah, I'll do the visualizer for your track, Flop. That'll be fun. But I mean, like, when you have a bass like this and everything all stacked together, it makes it feel really small, and I don't feel like that's your intention. I feel like this one should be batting back and forth and really setting people on edge. The other thing as well is like it reminds me of some video game soundtracky stuff, like it's really 8-bitty in that way. Like one of the original Pokemon battles for the Elite Four style ones. Or when you're against your rival in the the final bit. And it's just like you need to spread your octaves about a bit more, make it so it's like not just sitting in one range for the entire track. And also just miss things out occasionally. Rather than having everything on at all times, you need to start turning stuff off so that when it does come back in, we appreciate it more and we notice it more. and it's that rising. You need that rising energy curve, I think, if you want to make something this tense. So yeah, maybe go back to the It's easy when you're going to drawing. You're saying saying I did that once for a track when starting out. I mean, yeah, it's easy just sort of plonk everything together and say, but then you can go backwards and say, now I have a solid idea, and chip away at it a bit, so it makes more sense as a progression. Because right now there's not really so much of that. I hope that helps. Just a second. Of course, people were. Everyone makes just
one thing I've noticed. Yeah. The main thing I've noticed in the drop was there was no space left in the bass. It was just constant 808s, like, and you need some space. You can't just in the low end. You can't just like constantly push it. Like, I mean, you can with Reese's and stuff, but not on such a high volume clipping level, in my opinion. Because if you play this on like a big stereo system in a club, people's ears will fall out and they won't hear anything else other than they won't hear any of the high end, only low end just kicking. And for like hardstyle, even they don't even do that. They leave space for the high end, so you might want to look at that a bit.
It's good advice. And
Yeah.
I see you've been to more clubs than I have as well, so
It's fun. You should go.
there's not many good ones here. Is the problem.
They need to come over, man.
Are We More Than Friends by YPNT, aka Yes Please, on the Discord here. Let's see what he's got cooking for us. Oh, and he's got a comment as well. I should read that out. I'm back. You know the deal. Last minute song, last minute vocals, last minute fire, hopefully. Shooting for a slower, heartbreaking R&B soul vibe. Any feedback is good feedback.
Baby, I can stay for a while. Feel some strange things for a while. Have you sink into my arms for a while? It's the only way I'll get you off my mind. Are we more than friends or not? If so, should we pretend we're not? Maybe if I say we're not, you won't have to act like we're not. Baby, I could stay. There's no pressure either way. But I keep thinking about you all day. You see I'm playing, but I play no games, there's no way. Girl, you know I don't want guarantees, but this sure feels real to me. I know we both got our needs and that's alright. We can work out where they meet, maybe somewhere near a sea, underneath some mango trees, if that's alright. Baby, I can stay for a while. Feel some stranger things for a while. Have you sink into my arms for a while? It's the only way I'll get you off my mind. Are we more than friends
So that was Are We More Than Friends by Yes Please YPNT. I don't really know where your usernames and aliases come from, but yes please, we need more of that. Nathan, what are your thoughts? Where did that put you in?
A very chill spot. It's really, really nice. It gives me sort of like a mix between Daniel Caesar and Giveon, and yeah, just some of those kind of dudes. But then even more chill. Yeah, I really liked it. For the amount of time that you put in, if it was really short, it was like such a last minute thing. It was really, really good. Of course, I saw you saying that you didn't have the time for some vocal harmonies and stuff, but if you add those, it will be like a crazy production. Also, um, yeah, what I would do with the last solo, like the notes were really nice, but um, because the vibe of the track is so chill, maybe add like instead of this kind of amp sounds, maybe some John Mayer kind of sounds, you know? Like I don't know if you've heard the ballad version of Last Train Home. That would
I
be
have
like,
not.
mm, hello?
Sorry, my leg's a little stiff. I have not heard the last ballad, the last train home. Can you hear me? Nathan? We can hear you. Nathan, are you okay? I don't know what's happened with Nathan there. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah, I mean, I can hear your keys typing. So obviously something's going through.
I can't hear anything anymore, guys.
You
I'm
can't hear
cut off.
anything. That doesn't make any sense. Should all be going through.
I'll leave and rejoin.
Okay, sorry. Not sure what happened there. I don't know how we can hear him and all my audio. I haven't changed any of my settings, so I have no idea what's. Anyway, I'll give my thoughts. I agree with the vocal harmonies as a concept. That should definitely be something that, if you go another pass through, will elevate this. I also found your choice of crooning to be quite interesting as well, because most people don't really attempt that, and you did it really well here, and that was nice. Schlop saying, I feel like the instruments can be mixed a little tighter and louder, just a smidge. And yeah, I mean, crooning. Yeah, it's where you get really close to the mic and you let the lower end of your voice sort of come out when you're singing. So it's a little bit more, it's not smooth, but it's sort of nice and aesthetic. Nathan, can you hear me again?
Yes.
Yes, not sure what
Yes.
happened there. But I guess the reload
Me neither.
is all.
Yes, true.
So everyone asking what is crooning. Yeah, crooning is your whole aesthetic, but I mean this is more so than your previous songs. Like I mean everything I've heard prior to this is a lot smoother vocally. This one not so much, but it works really well for it. And any other comments here? Disco Dave saying it would make a good soulful house or neo disco track. I mean, it might be worth once you've got the sort of happy with everything kind of thing, chopping it around and seeing if anyone would remix it for you. I'm sure there'll be a few people around who would be good for that. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that. I mean, lyrically, it made a lot of sense. You didn't repeat yourself too much. Moldy Soul saying here, I kind of want just one spicy chord in there, some augmented dominance just before the loop starts. I mean, that could be interesting too, just a little bit more tension in places. But yeah, it's kind of a case of maybe just give it one more solid run through and make sure you've definitely got everything you need in it, and then chip away at finishing it. I know you don't always get a lot of time to your music, so I mean, you're doing really great for what time you do have. Next up, we have Schlop, and he wanted the visualizer. So hopefully this works. Bloop, bloop. Closed eye visuals. Bad trip.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Boom. Wow. I mean, the visualizer kind of said it all there. I mean, you saw how round it was getting. That's what a full track looks like in this ring visualizer thingy. It's very trippy and fun to look at. Shop was asking whether it was like sound system ready, and at least out of my headphones, I couldn't pick anything out that made any issue with what you've got there. The high end was nice and sharp without being piercing. The low end was very satisfying. I would love to hear what that, well, feel what that would sound like with something like a sub pack, which I do not have. Very sad. Nathan, how did that sound
Yes.
to you? Did you completely zone out to that one?
Trippy. Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very good. I did not get a bad trip from that. Obviously, it was really good. Um, it can be like this. But one thing I think I've saw somebody like say it. I think like imagine just this sort of like drum and bassy rap vibe over this beat. It would be sick. I can see it like being played in the London drum and bass club scene. Insane. Really cool. It's not even drum and bass, but still. get that vibe.
I think people would vibe to it anyway. Yeah. I mean,
It's really nice.
I don't really have any negative feedback for the one. It was just, I mean, it wasn't too long. It wasn't like each section sort of came in, and it was really satisfying to listen to the snaps of that snare and it sort of echoing out, and it felt full without being crowded. And yes, Shop says getting some drum and bass forthcoming. So yes, look forward to that. That'd be great.
Whoop.
And I love drum and bass, so that'll be interesting to hear.
Yes, who doesn't?
Also, maybe you should rename this track to not Bad Trip, but Dank Trip. Do you think that would be appropriate? I don't know. Next up, we have Disco Dave, who still doesn't have an alias. You gotta work on an alias, dude.
Disco Dave, sick name.
Yeah, I mean, Disco Dave is pretty cool, yeah. I don't know what this is. Stay With Me. We'll try it. Is there any feedback? Tried to make something less cheesy. Not had a lot of time, so kind of rushed it. I guess we'll see what happens then.
Kind of rushed it.
definitely fun. I'm not sure not cheesy is the right. So, I mean, it's even possible to make like hardcore like this without actually just generally being cheesy. You know, like I feel like it's kind of an entire part of the aesthetic. What do you think, Nathan?
True. True. Sorry, I'm eating a brownie at the moment.
Yeah, it's TSR, not PLSR thing. It's like camp. Yeah, it's very camp. You've got, you know, I think the only way to make it not quite so cheesy would be to not have everything quite so repetitive. Like that whoop sound, for example. The fact that it's just constant makes it hard to take seriously.
Yeah.
So
True. Yeah, for me that's the old happy hardcore vibe. So if you're making something like this, how can it not sound nostalgic and cheesy at the same time? Like that's the whole purpose of this track, I think, sort of.
It's so hard to say, isn't it? Like, you know, what do you recommend without removing it from the actual genre that it lives in?
Yeah, that I don't know what's it called, like that, not the flute, but the high, like constantly.
That's the thing; it just makes you laugh.
It's a bit too much. Yeah, it's fun, but it might be a bit too much for me at least. And the vocal, I don't know if it's a sample and if you're gonna get a longer vocal, because it's kind of repetitive, the whole track. I mean, it's really nice, production is good on it, but for me it's just a bit too constantly the same.
And I think as well, it's the fact that it's just the entire thing is like major happy all the way through. The recipe is always too much. Oh, I don't know. I mean, if you just want everyone grinning ear to ear, it works. But I mean, you'd have to be very particular about when you play it, unless you know. It's hard to say. I mean, on the whole, I enjoyed it, but maybe just see what you can actually cut out a little bit without changing the entire vibe. And yeah, dynamic chords. I mean, even just a little bit of tension in places to hint at some darkness. If you're thinking of a reference, yeah, feel free to post in the comments there, Sonny. Next up we have another person with a name that I can't really figure out. TSR, not PLSR. I'm not sure what that means, but okay, you're next with Hide and Seek.
Tug of war, I'm in this. Will it ever end, darling? How we finish where we started. I got this feeling that I can't let go. Won't you let me in? And your heart will know. Don't know why you try to keep it from me. Don't know why you try. Like I say. Silly, it's a pain, where you go, there's no way.
Better not mute that. Alright, so that was Hide and Seek by, I was corrected, Teaser Not Pleaser. Which I guess that name at least makes some sort of sense. So yeah, it was her own vocals there. And I mean, you were asking for vocal mixing advice. I think my first thing I would suggest would be something that Isha brings up all the time, and that is EQ your reverb. Right now, the vocal reverb is kind of bleeding over into, well, everything. So what you'd want to do is take some of those lower notes in your vocals and, EQ the low end out of the reverb chain, because it makes it tidier and easier to deal with. The other thing for me, at least personally, would be some parallel compression on your vocal chain, because you got all these different vocal layers going on, but they're not really gluing together at this point. If you're using GarageBand, I'm not sure entirely how you would do that in GarageBand these days. How advanced is GarageBand in 2022?
I think it's pretty advanced these days.
I mean,
I
I
find
know
it makes a
obviously
lot of music.
they still have some sort of segregation to make Logic make sense for existing. But I mean, I expect this band to be. I mean, what sort of plugin would you, if she can't get it in the GarageBand stock, what would you recommend to try getting for parallel compression?
Yeah, that's actually a really good one.
So I just use stock
Not
plugins
one that
because
I
I'm a
could-
basic.
Yeah. Yeah, me as well for that kind of stuff. Like most of the times I just I don't use parallel compression that often, and I wouldn't know one that's
And anyone,
Right on there.
anyone with some recommendations in chat, it's much appreciated. That they have a free 2 LA compressor called. Thank you, Bacco. If you could link that in chat, that'd be much appreciated. The other thing, I mean, your bass was massively overpowered. I think it was almost clipping in like somewhere along the way in your processing chain. And that harshness in your harmonics was actually taking me out of it a little bit, and it also makes it harder to mix your vocals when your bass is so overpowering. So maybe have a look at that and bring it down a little bit and see if you can nudge it tastefully out of the way your vocals, because I think that will benefit the vibe of the track where everything's kind of smooth and easygoing. So I mean, well, overall, I think everyone enjoyed the atmosphere. It was a good shot.
yes. The
Yeah.
vibe I got from it was there's this DJ and he's totally off the grid. The only thing where you can find him is from fan pages on Instagram. He's called Zip. He plays after parties in techno bunkers, like in Bergh. That's the most exclusive techno club in the world. It's in Berlin. They have the Shelter in Amsterdam. And the thing with those after parties is you would expect it's like just less hard techno, but the thing is they play this kind of music on such an insanely loud volume that you can like vibe to it still if you're in that state. Like, wait, I'll write it in chat.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it's insane. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Brought me back to those times when I was in those clubs. So, yeah, good job. Oh yeah, one more thing by the way on the vocals. I know what reverb you use, maybe a stock plugin, but one plugin that I recommend is D16 Store Reverb, because there's a ducking option, so you don't have to do it with like a limiter. To explain better, in Fruity Loops we have like a limiter where we can also sidechain the limiter, a stock plugin. So that you can do with the Torah reverb. It's really easy, and you make space for the vocal more by removing the reverb a bit.
That's a
That's
good
a bit
tip.
funny for me.
Yeah,
So
that's a good tip.
it's a bit hard to explain like this.
It's, I mean, there's a problem with audio engineering as well. You know, it's easier to show and hear the difference than it is to explain it
Exactly.
over.
Yes.
Next up, we have Lotus. Vitality Data V3. Or is it V.3? Oh, damn. Oh, that was heavy as all hell.
Yes.
Oh,
Just
I wasn't
yes.
sure what to expect at the start. I mean, like, sort of industrial sounding, and it built up into this really, really. It's like I don't know, almost a vapor twitchy sort of. That I mean, it's like it was screechy, but like it wasn't an annoying screechy. It was just a really, really, really intense experience. And my God, I mean, that might be some of the best stuff I've heard out of you so far, Lotus. Because I mean, everything was just paced just right. It was like it was predictable, but like I wasn't upset that it was predictable. You know, if it makes any sense at all. Like, everything structurally came where I would expect it to be, but it was all so well constructed and satisfying that it was just damn, that was really good. And
Yes.
anything that you picked up in the mix or production there, Nathan?
Actually, no. In my opinion, this is one of the best tracks in this style that we've had on the show since I've been watching. It was just really cool. The visualizer was going absolutely insane. Like,
Yeah, and I
almost
had to
couldn't keep
change it
track
a
of
few
the
times as
music.
well to sort of take advantage of the different sections, because there was some really, really trippy, interesting stuff going on in your like, oh my, that was great. I love that. I'm not
Yeah.
often left speechless by a track, but that one was
Yeah.
so satisfying.
So one thing I would recommend in this one, it's really easy. Just get a professional master on it, send it out to labels. As this is release ready, in my opinion. Even if it gets a good master, we'll get some. Yeah. Thing is, with still working on it. I've watched some masterclasses by some producers, really big ones like that Mouse, Armin van Buren, Chesto, Daniel Candy, all those kind of guys. They all say one thing in common. Like every producer wants to keep working on something, but if something is good, try and make it a bit better, but not too much, because most of the times you'll fuck up the project if you're working it too much. You
Yeah, it's
start to
possible
play
to
with you and
overwork it.
stuff. Exactly. Yeah. Like don't drop tracks that suck, but this is release ready already, so you can add a few more things, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't do too much to it, to be honest.
don't screw with the formula, because it works.
Yes, exactly.
So, wise words, wise words. Next up, we have Sunny Skies with When We Reach the Sky. First take on a song in 3/4, and the second time I've recorded guitar into a song. I'll take mixing feedback, but I'm looking more at sounds right now. Should I delve more into synth sounds, replace some sounds with others? On another note, the piano is a rough draft for vocals. Should I do male vocals or female vocals? Does a song even need vocals, and where would I put them? Last song I submitted had way too many vocals.
That's clear.
So, and you be careful. You might be asking us to write the whole song for you. That. Well, for your first time making 3/4, I think that worked reasonably well. I mean, that it can be tricky sometimes when you switch time signatures not to just end up relying on the same sort of ideas that you have in your 4/4 or whatever. I mean, this one was definitely in the waltzy sort of category. As far as your guitar, I think what you're going to have to start doing is now effectively comping your takes, because there were places where I feel like it could be better with some more harmonies with your guitar, and also maybe just tweaking your take a little bit to sort of get it a little bit more on time, because there were points where it was sort of lagging out a little bit in comparison to the beat. And I mean, it's nice having an organic feel, but you can kind of get polished at the same time by doing more takes and nailing each section individually. The other thing I think is your processing of your guitar. It's very mellow right now, but I feel like as it progresses, it might be worth having your processing get more resonant, to amp up that emotional aspect of your guitar's timbre. So like a little bit more screechy and a little bit more like slidey. I mean, some of that's in performance, but I think some of that as well would be in your processing, the type of amps that you simulation that you're using on it, because it's been it sounds like Guitar Rig right now, or something similar. And they require a fair bit of tweaking to really get the best effect out of them. Because their cab simulations, they're okay. But it does mean you got to give it that little bit extra love to sort of bring it to life and make sure it doesn't sound dead. And that's not your guitar, and it's not your guitar playing. I mean, it's sort of like, yeah, but it's not really like I can tell it's been performed, but it's just like with certain cab emulations, they can sort of dampen bits down in order to sound, because they're trying to sound like a specific setup. It might be worth trying, just experimenting. Yeah, getting yourself some configuration, because Bergh saying I did get compliments on my guitar processing using Guitar Rig. I mean, Guitar Rig can do a lot of stuff. It's just you don't rely on what it's presenting you. Tweak it and tune it to get it to sound nice and approaching the intention that you have. Because if you need it a bit gritty, then you're going to have to tweak it to make it the right sort of gritty, and not just some sort of imaginary version of a space. It's like reverbs. You get those convolution reverbs that are matching a space, and you wouldn't just stick a random one on and hope for the best, because it's not always effective. Nathan, what do you think of that in terms of, I mean, they were also asking whether they should add vocals and stuff to it.
I think at the moment it's a bit too busy to add vocals. Old track, but you can always like remove some elements, just put a vocal in there. It doesn't need one, in my opinion. Like if somebody wants like an instrumental track, this would be great. The one thing that I really noticed, like that wasn't annoying me, but that I was noticing like constantly, with the drums. Like the drums are processed well, but the closed hi-hats are a bit too loud. That's why they were peeking in my oar constantly, like bum bum bum. It's just like, yeah. It was good, but just put them a bit louder. Like closed hi-hats don't have to be loud at all. They just need to be there. Know what I mean?
Yep,
And for the rest, I actually really liked it. Of course, the guitar was a bit intense. It was nice though. Yeah, just generally liked the track.
Yeah, I genuinely liked it too. I mean, definitely keep working with it and, sort of give it the right sort of level of attention to details that it'll make it shine. Next up, we have Gabe O with new producer, third time submitted to the show. Finally feel like I cracked this track I've been working on. I really like the emotion I captured, but I feel it may be a little unfocused on or too long at times. Haven't dived into the mixing portion yet, so I'm mainly just looking for feedback, suggestions about the arrangement and what I should add, take away, and or change. Ethereal Demo 2 by Gabo. I think on the whole, this is a great idea. I mean, I'm agreeing with a lot of the chat here saying that a lot of it lie in the automation, opening up and closing your filter cutoff. the resonance curves on it, even just changing the basic stuff like the envelope, attack, decay, sustain, release on your synth sounds will help them be more organic. And because I mean the pads right now are feeling like kind of somewhere between a synth and a string and a brass kind of thing. And if you want to make it sound like it's being played more than just some sort of static one hold thing on your keyboard. The other thing I say is that you need to start working on your drum processing in relation and just balancing the volumes of everything, because right now the pads dominate everything. Nathan, any tips for dealing with this? Oh, sorry. Dealing with thick pads. Blah blah blah.
Okay, so of course, cut off like the sub and maybe a bit, like a tiny bit of the bass frequencies. Sure, but not too much because you still want that full sound. Also, yeah, just you can through some like sound stereoizing plugins, you can minimalize the middle sound and make it bigger on the outside. So by example, Kilohertz has a very nice stereoizer that's free. That's why you can do it. So you make a bit more space for everything. But for the rest, I don't have that much to add to Nathaniel's comments. One thing, I don't know how, but you got so many different drum patterns from my perspective in this song. It blows me away. Like, for me, it might not be that much, but I kept noticing like a change in drum patterns and like vibes.
Yeah, it's nice. It's actually a good thing, I think,
Yes.
to keep it dynamic. And
Yeah,
you don't
true.
lose the vibe while keep changing it up either. So you're doing pretty well in that regard.
Yes.
As for if it's too long, I feel like the problem is what you have for right now as an outro doesn't really resolve the track. So it does, I think look at that last minute and think, one, does this need to be as long as it is? But also, like, you need to provide us with an actual resolution rather than just stopping.
Yes.
So, I mean, look at chord theory, I think, for that one. That's usually where I go when I'm trying to resolve something. It's just, where is my home destination? And, how am I getting back to it without feeling like I'm just looping?
It's a good one.
So, I mean, if you follow everyone's advice for automation, it might be just a case of progressively reducing the number of elements in the track. A vocalist would love this song also. I mean, that's always a possibility as well, and that could end up providing the closure if you find a way to lyrically resolve it. Then the end of the vocal performance is naturally the end of the song. A few different ways you could go. On the whole, I like the vibe and keep going. I mean, it's fun.
Yes, true.
So next up we have Lost Signal with something or other. Lost Pain featuring Kid.
I'll stay forever long, 'cause you put me through the wrong path to where I'm gone. You fucked me up till I drown. I can't say the same thoughts that I had for your love. You were mine for so long. And what's up with your heart? You didn't leave me for this other guy. I never thought you'd be switching sides. I've always thought we'd be peace of mind. But I'm so sorry, it's so hard to find. And it's so hard to find anyone else. So stuck in my head, I can't even tell. The fuck am I can see myself. Can see the light on my fucking fell. Feel like the leaves fell from the trees. Oh, what's getting into me? Feel like I don't wanna see you and your boyfriend. It got me heartbroken to see you with someone else. Can't leave you for someone else. I wish I could go back in time. I wish I could go back in time. The time that I wasn't broken. So I can't stop the pain stop the pain inside of my mind. Trees, thought I was coming into me, thought I was coming into me. Oh, spend a life not being sober. Can't believe that I left you. Felt my heart just for so long. Can't believe that you're really gone. 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 I wish I could go back in time, the time that I wasn't broken, broken. So I can't stop the pain inside of my head. Just see the pain in my
That was really, really fun and good and intense.
Yes.
And everyone's throwing the bangers again this week. I love it. So, I mean, they were asking specifically for feedback and on the mix down mainly, I think. But I mean, I honestly can't really pick anything specifically out. It was nothing really stood out in terms of mix quality. I don't know about you, Nathan.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It gave me at first the weekend vibes, but then the drop started playing. Really
Yeah, I
good
think
though, really
it
good.
kind of elevated the vocal performance, the way it's produced.
Yes, exactly. Like, really good. One thing I would try and do is like the vocal when the vocal and the drops really good. Vocal when the drops are not there, like especially at the beginning, you notice like every little detail, right? So what I would do is get a bit more of a realistic reverb because now added a lot of high end, like maybe a bit too much. A bit too, yeah. I don't know how to explain it. This is one of those things again where you just need to see it. I would just clean up the reverb a bit. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
and it just automate it a little bit to
Yeah,
change that
also.
intro.
Yes. For the rest, really nice. I have nothing to say anymore. I have no more things to say about it. Really good.
I don't have.
We have a
anything
lot
else
of good
to add
tracks
either.
tonight.
Oh, it really has been. Everyone's killing it. Woohoo! Next up, we have Hai Chi, aka Moldy Soul, in the chat there. Rough mix going on, trying to go for one of those kinds of tracks. I don't really know what that means. Need some work with arranging and rhythmic progression, but only started a couple of days ago, so super work in progress. Well, I really enjoyed what the atmosphere going on there. Crystal Cycles is actually a really good name for the track. I agree with your own assessment in the chat that the sub is kind of overpowering, especially compared to everyone else. This is something you keep doing. I mean, I swear it's just your referencing environment there. Because you keep making the same comments to yourself every time you hear the things in context. Backo here saying, I think it'd be cool if you built out a full progression out of the chord stack and main theme. And as with everything else, it always needs more modulation. I mean, yeah, I could see that. And I'm also a bit of a sucker for the sort of trip-hoppy, fairly simple, atmosphere-y vibe that this one has. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, how much more complicated? I mean, I guess a little bit of extra modulation wouldn't hurt. Nathan, extra modulation.
Tonight, everything you're saying, I want to say. Like, everything tonight.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
It's
steal
crazy.
things.
No, that's no problem. But the thing is, I just don't have that much to add. It's pretty nice. At some points, it gave me I might be the only one, but it gave me the vibes like when you were playing Pokemon, like when you were young, and when you were in the caves. And no, it
Caves,
gave me
you say?
those vibes. Yeah, sometimes like I don't know, it's just weird. But for the rest of it, I liked it. I have nothing to add to what you said. So. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Now, what I'll do is I'll make sure next song you start, then you can steal my words. It's
Yes, no
fine.
problem.
Sorry, I'm a terrible host. I should let the guests.
Yes,
speak
yeah,
first.
yes. No, it
Yes.
doesn't matter.
All right, this is Geology, Whip, 5th of October to Jazz Keys Beat. Okay. Oh, no, it stopped. That was surprising. I guess it was a.
That's an artistic choice.
Okay. What other things would you recognize here as artistic choices, Nathan?
No, but the thing is, I say that too much. The thing is, no, I liked it. It's missing an element, in my opinion. Like it sounds a bit empty. The mix is really nice. Yeah, also, but you could also just add like this funky guitar, like just bit Bootsy Collinsy vibe, just like a bit of funky guitar, you know, the ones you used to hear in like the Motown funky records. I think that would sound really nice on this because it kind of has that vintage vibe to the drums and the synths that you choose. Yeah, exactly, like a pointy guitar. Nice. That's the main thing for me.
I've never
What
heard
about
the
you?
word pointy before. Wink.
No, me as well, but it describes it well.
In a stuttery note slide kind of thing.
Like dun 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 dun. Dun. Like but then with a guitar, just almost no amp settings, no distortion, anything. Just like the old
Yeah.
funk days.
Fair enough. Get some proper funk, plinky plonk guitar.
Blink.
Bling, bling, ding, ding, ding. Or that's bluegrass.
Almost.
And obviously, yeah, I think on the whole as well, this would definitely call for a rap of some kind over the top of it, or some sort of vocal element. It's definitely unfinished in that regard. And as a foundation for something like that, it works really well. I think if you were to make it, if you were to force it to be a longer track, though, it would have to have more variation than it has now. Maybe highlight a specific element in each part of your track. Because this one's kind of doing everything at once and forever kind of thing. Next up, we have Bacoba Bezo with something else. I think I'm just making sure I'm not skipping anybody. Yeah, Bacoba Bezo. Found a vocalist going to build this demo out into a track. Ideas or arrangement and missing elements, please. Blinky blonk. Big all chords demo. Boop. And come on, switch back. There we go. Right. So that is Big All Chords demo by Bacoba Bezo. Was that some? I thought it was big chords, but maybe not big enough. Nathan, did those chords feel big enough?
Yeah. So the biggest thing on this track, I think everybody has had this problem when they like started producing. I mean, 1 year is a lot, but in the producing world, it's not that much. But still, keep on going because you're heading the right route. I was at same track, sounding as yours is right now. You're going in the right direction. But the biggest thing is sound selection for me on this track. Like some of the drums just weren't completely there. The snare is what I saw in the chat a few times. Also the rhythm of the hi hats. Maybe like keep this, but underneath just a really low volume hi hat that keeps on going to keep the rhythm on. Yeah, going and going.
Just a subtle.
Yeah, just really subtle. And also just a bit more sound selection in the synths as well. It's good, but if you mastered that, like easy bangers.
We'll just open in the right place. Yeah.
Wait.
Wait. You heard something else?
Yeah, not only like backup BBzo, not only on beat, but like just to keep it flowing a bit. You can sidechain it just a bit, but then yeah, just double time, I guess.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, as well, I mean, make sure that you actually provide room for a downbeat section, because it's all very up-tempo so far. You're going to have to stop that at some point, otherwise people get not really understand the context behind how big everything sounds. Like, the bigness comes from the context of everything else being smaller. And right now everything is very loud and very proud and just like, let's go. So I mean, for me at least, that would be where I'd start tweaking the arrangement, perhaps, is just find a way to lower the energy level from your drop. Actually come back down, find your level 0, and then work your way back up for the second drop. But I mean, next up we have Disco Dave again, I guess. Is this coming through okay? Because I
Yes,
should be.
very
Yeah,
loud.
okay. Very loud. It's an MP3 file. Let's see if it works.
Yes,
Hopefully
let's go.
Oh my god, that was so loud! And it just so
Yes,
constant.
my ears are bleeding.
Backo suggesting you should try a shepherd's tone and really draw it out. Where it really needs to be, yeah, it just there's that meme video of when will the bass drop, and it just keeps going and building.
Oh,
and building
I
and
know
building.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you tried to turn this track into that, that would be hilarious. But I mean, right now it's just it's a bit much. Like it just, I mean, the problem is the loops themselves are very distinct. Like you know exactly when the loop is started again. And so, like, you're building up, but you're building up in such a rigid manner with this work in progress here that it isn't quite at that stage of feeling nice. Like, the loop is too obvious.
Mm,
And I don't
yes.
know. It's also lower energy than the last track that we heard from you, and I don't know. It's just like this one doesn't feel quite as fun. The bass line isn't as interesting, and the vocal sample is honestly more repetitive than the other one. I mean, it shows it's really rough, and I think you just have a lot of work towards making it actually feel like an organic arrangement right now. So that's kind of where I'm feeling with that. I mean,
Yes, I fully agree. I
we got
I assume you have a master on this track because it's so loud.
well, given it's so loud, there's definitely some sort of preliminary master on this.
Yes. So with the limiter, don't push it too loud because if you have the somewhere in the track, I think at the beginning, the kick was you could hear the kick very clearly, and you hear the bit of too much distorting. Like I think the whole track would be just a bit more clean if there's not the kick is not like trying to knock down my door.
Open
I
up,
don't.
it's the bass, please.
Yes. What kind of limiter did you use? If I may ask. Are you in the chat? Is he in the chat?
Disco Dave should be in the chat. They usually are. They were earlier. There he is. Yeah, I see him. Really rough with Peter's one he said. So, Disco Dave,
Oh, yeah.
what limit are you using?
Mm,
Is it?
because if you're using ozone, try to put like the maximum. Hey,
Hey, Isha.
Asha,
Love you too.
fruity limiter.
Fruity
I would,
limiter.
in my yeah, that makes sense. That's I recommend by my own experience Pro L2 from FabFilter or Ozone. Those are both really nice. In my opinion,
What's that
Ozone is a
free
bit
one?
easier.
Limiter number 2. I think it's called.
Also, invisible limiter is really nice. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend using Fruity limiter for mastering. When it's possible, but you'll just
It color the sound a fair bit as well in a way that's not necessarily intentional, so it can muddy things up.
Yeah.
So I'm in agreement.
Not my
with that.
favorite one. You can get somewhere in the genre with this track, but just there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
So next up we have Sunny Skies, and before we go, Nathan, do you have anything you want to play on the stream tonight?
Not tonight because I have a track. It's on the final mastering stages, gonna be released on the Blue Soho record.
So all your focus has been on that, just finishing it up.
Yeah, I haven't had anything else at the moment.
Play your track. We did play your track. We just played it.
Nice. Does he have another track in the queue?
No, he doesn't. He's just memeing it. He's trolling me. Well, we have Melodic Dubstep.wav by Sunny Skies. no, SoundCloud, don't do it. Don't do it, SoundCloud. Always with the autoplay. Even I am caught out by that one. It's not just Isha, it's just SoundCloud. It's evil. So, melodic
Yeah.
dubstep whip. I mean, it was definitely melodic dubstep, but what sort of name would you think of for this one? It doesn't have one yet, Nathan.
The name of the track, you mean?
Sorry, I just closed voice meter
Oh.
there. Try repeating what you were going to say there.
You mean the name of the song or the name of the
Yeah,
genre?
it doesn't have one, so maybe we should come up with one.
I don't know. High pitched lead sound. Not well.
High pitched lead sound. It was very high pitched. It was very piercing. Definitely
Yes.
take a look at your EQ for that. Maybe even use a DS or something along those lines, because I had to turn my headphones down because that was quite hard to listen to. Once
Exactly.
everything else came in, that stuff was all nice. It's just
True.
oh,
This pads at the beginning were
Yep.
great. Like the pads and just all the sounds at the beginning, really, really good. Like the rest was good as well. Just that one sound was kind of fucking with my ear. I don't know if I can say that stuff on here, but yeah. Still, I don't think you will get banned with all the other kind of streamers on here.
so yeah, I think just reference it. Or use your smartphone. I think that's a good one for high pitched frequencies. If it's distorting out of your phone, it's too much. Because
Yeah,
if your
it's a good-
headphones aren't accurately representing it, you need something else to sort of exaggerate certain frequencies to help highlight issues. And referencing across your devices is always the best bet, I think. As far as arrangement, this track works quite well. And it isn't. I like your chord choicing, and your general use of voicing is good as well. Dynamic EQ, Bergh with the little gifs there and the reactions. I like that. So unfortunately, due to scheduling conflicts, I guess, Nathan has to say goodnight to us, so it's going to be a slightly shorter stream tonight. But next week, I plan on having the full usual 3-hour stream that we normally have. If anyone would like to join me, please DM me on Discord, and I will hook you up with some links, because it'll be me hosting again. And thank you everyone for your submissions. No, we just played yours, Sonny. So
like 1 second ago, bro.
God.
Still on the screen.
Bro,
Oh no, he's annoying you.
well, you'll have to watch the recording. It's fine. Anyway, there's also on the page there's a recording of last week's ILBC finals. Please, everybody, go watch that and share it. There will be likely clips coming up soon on the YouTube as well, so go follow us on the YouTubes. It should be linked in the Twitch bio and stuff. I mean, might be able to do that here too, but I mean, I am not that organized. But yeah, so basically, go subscribe to us on YouTube for content related to thing. If we can get to 100 subscribers, then we can have a custom URL, which will make things way easier, because it can be youtube.ilbctv or whatever. The same is here. So go follow us there, please. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining us tonight. This has been ILBC Feedback and Friends with Nathan van den Bergh. Thank you so much for joining us, Nathan. Really appreciate you, and love you all, and good night.